Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my good brother. It's BrianTronic. How's it going, man?
It's going great. I'm glad to be back. Got baby in hand.
I was going to say, this is why we need to go video, which I do plan going video or turning the podcast into video form in the near future. But even so right now, I think we would get a lot of extra clicks because of how adorable this video is right now, at least you and I. But yeah. You're holding your brand new baby boy, your son. Look at that. That's the first time I'm seeing him.
Almost 1 month old. Oh, there he is.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
making his debut.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. He's the official, I guess, third co-host, we could say, or something like that. Oh, right. He's adorable. And I told you off the air, he looks awesome with his outfit, the Nike outfit he's got on. Yeah. He's styling and profiling.
Definitely, he's ready.
Oh, that's so cool.
I'm gonna hand him over to mom now.
Okay. I see your other son, Charlie. There he is.
Yep, he's
Is he on summer vacation right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Trying to find something for him to do.
He could be our producer.
Yeah, there you go.
Charlie be our producer.
Charlie, you're gonna be our producer. You're gonna be behind the scenes. You ready for that?
Do research for us. We'll pay you in WWE tickets.
Right.
Whenever they come back into town again.
Exactly.
Oh, man. But no, here we are back for another episode in the Kliq. Brian, so great to see your face once again.
Man.
Big shout out. Thank you again to Tim from Pro Wrestling Unlimited for making the hot tag, filling in for you on our last episode. Yeah, as we just said, Brian, and as you've been listening, you have a brand new son, so I get it. Your schedule's all over the place, being a dad once again. And so,
yes.
How are you feeling, though? Are you feeling a little bit better? Your sleep schedule a little bit back to normal, or probably not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling good. The sleep schedule is kind of all over the place. I'm still trying to... I felt like before he got here, I could stay up all night and get up early. Now it's like I'm up, and at midnight, I'm just like exhausted. Like, oh my gosh, he won't go to sleep. It's like morning for him. So we're trying to teach him early on that, when it's daytime, when it's light outside, but when it's dark and we got everything off, that means it's time to go to sleep.
Wow. So you got to be really like committed as far as this is bedtime. Right now.
Yep.
Oh my God. No, but like you said, thank you again to Tim for helping out. And Tim, awesome dude. I can't thank him enough for his help. He's like a silent, I don't know what's the term, silent helper or whatever. As I mentioned at the end of last episode, he's the one to edit our videos from WrestleMania, edit videos from SummerSlam. Anytime we're remote somewhere doing interviews on site somewhere, he's the one I send the videos back to, and he edits them for us and gets for our YouTube channel. So Tim has always been such a huge help. Can't thank him enough. So make sure subscribe to his YouTube channel, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Just look for it. He does a bunch of videos every day of all the breaking news and whatnot, and he does streams as well. So follow him on Twitch. Subscribe to his Twitch page at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Follow him on Twitter. and Instagram, all that stuff. So big shout out to him. We got to get Tim on more regular. Maybe I was trying to think of a way to kind of incorporate Tim a little bit more often. Maybe he can like jump on with us since he breaks a lot of news stuff as well. Maybe he can jump on and fill us in on some of the new stuff, and like you and I can react to that somehow. So we can brainstorm all that stuff at another point. But I love having Tim on and helping out. But once again, like I said, great having you back. A lot to talk about. I know we're trying to cram this episode in before tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite Special Edition, Blood and Guts. Yes. But this episode, we're going to talk all about AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling's big pay-per-view this weekend, the Forbidden Door. It finally kicked open officially on a big stage in Chicago. So we're going to talk about the pay-per-view, give our thoughts about it, run down through the results and some other things that happened on the show and some of our takeaways and whatnot. But yeah, Brian, I'll turn it to you first. I kind of have a feeling what your emotions are a little bit. I wanted your overall maybe just thoughts on Forbidden Door as a pay-per-view, as a show, what you think of it. I know you had trouble the first hour of the show getting it watched. I mean, so please kind of sum it all up for everyone.
Yep, I had trouble. I missed the entire. Well, see, I caught on late. I didn't because I usually watch the buy-in and everything on through Bleach Report or Fight or whatever. So I didn't realize that you could watch it on YouTube or Twitter or whatever. I should have known, right? But I didn't realize that until right before the show started. Like, oh, the whole buy-in was like on Twitter, number one. But then number two, like I missed that whole entire thing, and then I missed a whole hour of the main show because I bought the event 30 minutes before the buy-in on Bleach Report, and then once it hit 4:00, I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna start to watch the show. Mm-hmm. And it said that I needed to buy it again, and this has happened before, and where I've bought it, and then I'm like, oh, I said I didn't buy it, okay, and then I bought it again, and I got charged twice, and then I went through so much hassle trying to, get my money back and everything. So like at first I was like, I could just buy it again, but I was like, I don't want to have to go through that. So I called, and I was on the phone with them 2 different occasions for like almost 2 hours total. Like there was 2 different times. One time I got hung up on, and when I called back, I had to wait maybe 20 minutes for someone to even answer the phone. And then once I got through, I was on for pretty much over an hour. So it was really, really difficult. And it was just frustrating because it's like, man, this is the Forbidden Door. Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure it sucks tuning into a wrestling pay-per-view late, especially when it's live, right? Because because now you're juggling with, dang, well, do I go back? Do I start it from the beginning, or do I just keep going and then go back? And so, it sucked.
So did you start from the beginning, or you just jumped in like a moving stream of river, just jump in and just I'll go back later?
I didn't tune in until the All Atlantic, the end of the All Atlantic Championship match. Okay. And I was on Twitter like, what did I miss? Because I was trying to stay away from spoilers and stuff too. So I was like, oh man, what did I miss? And it seemed like I had missed a few matches. I mean, if you count the buy-in matches also, it's like, oh, okay, I missed a little bit, but not too much.
Man, well, no, it's I feel bad. I get what you're saying. Like, listen, I know AEW is part of the Turner network, obviously being with TBS and TNT. Turner also owns Bleach Report, hence why everything AEW does pay-per-view wise, it's through Bleach Report. I mean, they were originally Fight TV, and was it BR Live, and then eventually BR Live got repackaged as Bleacher Report, and then they stopped doing stuff with Fight TV, which I get it. They're trying to focus on the streaming service that their parent company owns. I get that. Yeah. It makes all sense. But yeah, I'm with you. I've been frustrated as well, and it seems like a lot of people on Twitter have been frustrated. I mean, the interface alone is just not that clean to me. Or it's like when you go to bleacherreport.com and try to buy something, I notice it's a lot easier for me as an iPhone user, and maybe anyone else listening. go through the Bleacher Report app, find the event you want to purchase through the app, and then I just purchase it on my phone, purchase on my phone, and then I go back to my desktop, and then I refresh, and then that way it kicks in the stream that way. That's how I kind of do it. So that's a little tidbit.
I should have done that. And see, I knew that was an option, but this time I was already on the computer. I'm like, let me just go ahead and buy it. And I knew you had promised the entire time. I was like, why don't I just, and even on Apple TV, because I usually watch on Apple TV, and it's the same thing. You buy it through Apple. I'm like, why didn't I just do that from the beginning? As soon as I clicked on my TV and saw that it said purchase buy now, I was like, oh no, I made a mistake.
Well, that's the thing too. I was like, I'll do it like on my phone, and then maybe I'll throw it, if I'm not on my desktop to stream it, then I'll throw it on my my Chromecast that way. So connect my phone, so my phone is streaming it, but then it replay or displays on my TV with the Chromecast. Right. So I get it. I mean, it sucks, and I hope they figure things out, like maybe change the interface, make it a little bit easier to navigate through. But I still hope they would get maybe their own network. I mean, I think, or streaming service. AEW has been around for 3.5 years. They got plenty of shows and weekly episodes of TV that they can archive and put on a streaming service. Ring of Honor, now they have the video library. So I think they have enough to, I don't know if they would create their own service, or HBO, right, is also part of Turner, I believe. And they advertised a bunch of HBO Max stuff back in the day. So I HBO Max is like the big thing. I would rather maybe have them all under the HBO Max umbrella. I think that'd be great. Right. Like what WWE is with Peacock, AEW and Ring of Honor can be under HBO Max. And maybe if they have a working relationship with New Japan, maybe New Japan can throw their stuff. No, but they got New Japan World. What am I talking about? But anyway, I get what you're saying. They need to kind of make it a little more user friendly. So
yeah, definitely.
But the show overall, I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people were praised for just a lot of the in-ring action. I know going into it, a lot of people thought the show was cursed. There was a lot of injuries. A lot of big-name people we wanted to see on the show could not perform because they were injured. So they called it audible. Got some other people on there. But the actual in-ring performance was awesome, front to back. I know some of the stuff, matches seemed kind of predictable. But, hey, at the end of the day, sometimes being predictable is okay if it's what the fans wanted to see anyway. So if it's fan service, then everyone walks away happy. Am I right?
That's true. And in my opinion, I thought the show overall was decent, at least from what I saw. The one thing I agree with the predictability. It was very predictable, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a double-edged sword. It's like, or it's a gift and a curse. It's like a good thing, but then it's a bad thing, because it's like, for me, it's like, oh, this is supposed to be like the biggest, the Forbidden Door. Like, here we go, New Japan, AEW coming together, putting together this huge, card. And it to me, it felt like it almost felt like Survivor Series type, right?
Absolutely.
And as of recently, Survivor Series just hasn't really been what it's been in the past, or what people expect from it, right? Like, it hasn't been worthy of the big four or big three or however many bigs it is now, pay-per-view events or premium live events, whatever you want to call it. So I feel like not only the fact that it was predictable, but I think some of the matchups, and I get it, the injuries, but some of the matchups were kind of, and there was some misses there. Like, even without the injuries, I felt like they could have did some things where they could have matched people up differently.
Yes.
I thought the fact that the main event, it being the AEW interim world championship match, was questionable. I think the IWGP heavyweight championship should have been the main event, considering the names that was in it.
I do agree with you. I think the IWGP match, the Fatal 4-Way, obviously was like the best of the best, and it was like, I think, bigger names. I know Tana Hoshi. I know a lot of people say he's like the John Cena of New Japan. I get that. Right. Moxley, he's a former AEW champion. I get it why they went last, because it was for the AEW title, or the interim title. So I get it. Yeah. This was, even though it's AEW and New Japan working together, It's in America. It's in the U.S. Excuse me, America is the U.S., but it's in America. It's in Chicago. It's almost like AEW's hosting the show, and New Japan is a part of it. I get that. So it makes sense why AEW went last, or their title went last. I saw some people online. I think they could easily make this like an annual show, or maybe like a twice a year show, as far as maybe one show is in America and then the other one is in Japan. So maybe like the first half of the year it's in America, and then at the second half of the year it's in Japan. So you get like 2 Forbidden Door pay-per-views a year. And that way, like any guys or gals, or I mean gals as far as with Stardom, but if any of the guys on the roster who couldn't make it over because of whatever reasons, at least they'll get them in Japan, and you can have some different matchups there, if that makes sense. So, if they're in Japan, then it's like their setting, and then maybe the IWGP title can be the last match of the night. So that could be a cool compromise. Or, if they only want to do once a year, not oversaturated, then maybe alternate, like this year America, next year be in Japan, following year back in America. I don't know what the business model is. I didn't have a chance to. I was on the Tony Khan media call for about 10 minutes. I couldn't be on at the very beginning, and then I had to get off again at the end to finish some work. But that's something next time I would talk to friend of the show, Tony Khan. I would ask him for Forbidden Door. Is it going to be an annual thing? Have there been thoughts about doing one in Japan? So that's something I would like to ask. And I don't know if that was already brought up on the media scrum or the media call last week. So, so that's one solution, maybe. Whoever's the hosting country, their title goes on last, and so it'd be nice.
That would be fair.
And I would it'd be kind of cool, like maybe the fallout from this is maybe we'll get some cool matches at Wrestle Kingdom in January. So maybe that's it. Ooh, how about, I'm just thinking out loud. Okay, since Forbidden Door happened in June, Wrestle Kingdom is in January, so it'd be 6 months later, so kind of equal distance apart. And I know they try to make Wrestle Kingdom 3 days this year. Maybe the third day could be the Forbidden Door version, where it's AEW guys over there. So I don't know, just throwing ideas out there.
That's a good idea.
Tony, call me. We'll brainstorm some more.
Yes.
No, but the show overall, I said, was a lot of fun. And I do agree with you. There were some people I wish would have wrestled. I know injuries prevented that, and there were some matchups I was like, I kind of was scratching my head a little bit. We'll get into all that. So the buy-in, they actually had 4 matches, which I was kind of surprised. They kind of put a lot together. I didn't really get to watch all of them as well, just because of just busy with other things. I couldn't get to it in time, but I know, Goto and Yoshihashi defeated the Factory. Lance Archer, even though he's an AEW guy, I guess technically he was representing New Japan, defeated Nick Comoroto. Swerve in Our Glory, which is Keith Lee, and Swerve Strickland defeated Suzuki Gun, which is El Desperado, and Kanemaru. I think I'm pronouncing it right.
I think so.
And then Max Caster and the Gun Club taking on the LA Dojo Young Boys. Umarara. Oh, I'm totally butchering these names. Actually, I saw him wrestle at West Coast Pro Wrestling last year. Yep. And my brother loves watching because he thinks he's like a young Ricky Steamboat. And sure enough, the commentators made that connection as well. So that was cool. Alex Coughlin, the DKC, and Kevin Knight. So I did catch this match because I was like, oh yeah, it's on YouTube. I can watch it there. So let me ask you about the Gun Club and Max and oh my God, I was gonna say the Acclaim kind of working together, the Ass Boys and the Acclaim working together, kind of like their own little faction going. Billy Gunn is kind of overseeing them. He's kind of like the father figure. Scissor me, daddy. What do you think of them as a faction? Because I'm like, I think before they all were just kind of existing, but now all of them together, they seem to get a little traction going and gaining some little fan support. which I think is cool. And I'm just throwing this out there. Billy Gunn, we all know, was part of DX, or the second era of DX. Do you guys feel like this is AEW's version of DX, like the young, obnoxious, immature guys just creating havoc on everyone? I don't know. What are your thoughts on this faction?
Yeah, it's pretty close to it. And it's funny because I just rewatched Max Caster's rap when they came out to the ring today on Twitter. And I, when I looked at it, I said, wow, like, okay, this, AEW, for people out there that aren't in AEW, or say AEW doesn't like create stars, or they, they only get ex WWE talent, like, this bunch of guys it's fun to watch. Their entrance is over. They may not be like super, technical wrestlers or anything like that. I think the Gun Club, Austin and Colton, I think they got it. They got the look. Like, if you plugged them into WWE today, they would work. I feel like, so I think they look great. The Acclaim,
NXT 2.0, they would fit in that. Yeah,
definitely, easily. And so, I think I saw a meme, or it was like one of those greater than, or something's better than this. And I saw it was someone had put the Acclaim and the Gun Club are better than DX. And I was like, I don't know about that.
Nah, I mean, nothing will top the original DX. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chyna, even Rick Rude. Like, that always holds a special place in my heart, even though Stone Cold's my favorite. What DX was doing at that time, and I was in middle school, like, watching that was entertaining stuff. But, what the Gun Club and the Acclaim are doing together, it's still entertaining. If it's this generation's DX, if you want to call it that, that's great. If that gets people interested in them and want to look up who was DX back in the day, if you're someone that's young and didn't watch it live in real time. So no, it's very entertaining. They see, at first I was kind of like, that's an odd pairing of all four of them together, but they seem to make it work, and they're finding screen time and and social media and other stuff. So I'm all for it. I think it's, hey, as long as it works and it gets them over, I'm all. It's entertaining. So for the match itself, I was still kind of shocked that it really was a 4-on-2 where Colton Austin ran off when Danhausen jumped on the screen. And I don't watch, I guess, Being the Elite, but I guess he's been antagonizing them for a long time, calling them the ass boys, and really getting under their skin. He comes on the big screen, he starts playing the Ass Boys theme song, and they got pissed off and ran in the back looking for him. They never returned. Now, for a lot of people, just to clarify, they thought that was a brand new song. That song's been around for a minute, right? I think, like, didn't Danhausen make that like last year or something?
I think so.
And I think it's Brody King's band that does it as well. So Brody King from House of Black, he's in a band, and so I think that's the if you watch the music video, it's them in it. So just a little trivia for everyone out there, music trivia. But so no, anyway, to me, I thought that they were going to come back into the match at some point, but no, they were gone the whole time. So I mean, I'm sure they're like, man, we're on this big pay-per-view and we have to run off and never come back. So that kind of sucked. But but the match itself, it was like 4-on-2, and it was like a showcase for Billy Gunn to show that he can still go with all these younger guys.
I guess so.
So
I noticed that happens a lot with Billy, and matches that he's involved in, like, he kind of just has his moments where he gets in there and does his thing, and he's super jacked and he shows it off. Good for Billy, though.
Dude, you look at him, he's so much bigger than so many guys on the current roster. Like, it just shows, like, the WWE formula, especially the 90s, what Vince likes in a superstar versus, some of the wrestlers today. It's just... it's kind of like a what if, like, if Billy Gunn should have been like a world heavyweight champion at WWE. I know he got that little singles run. He was the Intercontinental champion, but he never got past that. And didn't he, like, he had like a thing going with The Rock for a little bit, if I remember correctly. Like, it was 90, not 2000, right? So
They got a kiss my ass match too.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so despite being 4-on-2 and Billy Gunn much older compared to everyone else, they kind of dominated, and Billy Gunn and Max Caster picked up the victory, which I was shocked because you would think it was like almost like a handicap match. They should have lost, but no, they still picked up the victory. So I guess Billy Gunn's experience outdid everyone. So anything else from this match that stood out for you?
No, not really.
Right on. Okay, so let's jump into the main show. So we saw Les Sex Gods, my best friend Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, and also Minoru Suzuki take on Eddie Kingston, Shota Umino, and Wheeler Yuta. The winner of this match receives the advantage for the Blood and Guts match. This match, it was fun, like seeing Eddie Kingston slap it out with Minoru Suzuki. I'm sure that was a big, fun moment for him. What do you think about Eddie Kingston's quote, like machine gun machine gun slaps to the chest?
Yeah.
To me, they look kind of like not that hard hitting. Like, I almost rather see him just like really wind up and do one big slap instead of doing like a bunch in a row, and they don't look like they're landing that hard. I don't know
exactly. No, I agree. They look. It's fun for the crowd, right? To get into it. It's kind of like the Hulk up, like the movement, like the gesture, like it just looks like he's hulking up a little bit, right? But
right on, brother.
I feel like. I mean, it's okay, I guess. It's Eddie Kingston. It's one of those things.
Well, it's funny. I saw, was it Tommy? My brother Tommy sent me a video comparing like who's the best chopper in wrestling. It was like Eddie Kingston versus Gunther, and it's just boy, Eddie Kingston. He does all these like little slaps that don't look very effective. Then Gunther just lays one big slap like on Ricochet and just goes flying. So
turns him inside out.
Exactly. So ultimately saw Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Suzuki pick up the win here. So yeah, they have the advantage tonight for Blood and Guts. So we'll watching Dynamite, see how that plays out. It was cool seeing Umino put the walls of Jericho on Chris Jericho. Because Umino, his dad is Red Shoes in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the ref, who Jericho's always been beating up in front of his son.
Yep.
And his son, I wish I could watch more New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I guess he's been on excursion, so that's why he has like this whole like rock star look now.
Oh wow.
So that's why he has like the long hair and everything. So it was cool seeing that. So Suzuki made the save for Jericho. Then Suzuki rocked Eddie Kingston with the Gotch style pile driver, and then Jericho smashed Umino with the Judas effect and pinned him for the win. So that little rivalry between the two of them is going on still. Later in the night, we saw Umino. I hope I'm not butchering his last name. Forgive me if I am. But he was doing an interview, and Jericho comes up and throws a fireball in his face. So I wonder if Jericho and him are going to have a little rivalry going. Maybe Jericho goes back to Japan, does something with him. So that's pretty cool. I'm all for that. Let's see. Next up, we saw FTR, who are the ROH champions, take on United Empire and Roppongi Vice. Three-way match, winner take all for all the tag titles, the IWGP titles as well. Dude, this match is so fun. I really enjoyed this match. Were you able to rewatch it later?
Yeah, I did. Because I heard, was it Dax that got hurt?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I wanted to go back and see exactly what happened. But, FTR, man, they're really making their case for best tag team in the world, or at least, putting themselves in that conversation, like at the very top. If you don't think they're number one, they're definitely, two or,
Who must be number one right now, active? Like Usos, maybe?
Yes, but then you can also argue that are they even wrestling as hard, and is wrestling half the good matches that FTR have been wrestling? Probably not, you know.
And
so
FTR is winning. Usos, when it comes to a title defense, they win, but everything else, non-title, they've been losing.
Yeah.
I mean, they just lost on SmackDown this week against Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. So,
super random.
yes, so the booking of the Usos doesn't make sense as of late. But anyway, we'll say that for WWE talk later. But FTR here, God, they're so over. When it came out, the crowd loves them. They're such baby faces now. I mean, I guess you could officially say Pinnacle is completely done now. So they're distancing themselves from MJF and all those guys. And God, I mean, they've been winning belts all over the place. And this match was a lot of fun. I mean, now for Dax, when he got hurt, was that a shoot? Like that was real? Or was that?
I think that was real. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was real, and the doctors took him to the back and worked on him, and
Yeah.
you know, he was definitely favoring that arm or shoulder or whatever it was.
So I hope it was just a dislocation, if that's the case, because dislocation you can pop that back in, but if it's separated and if there's like ligament damage, then you're kind of in trouble as far as healing time and stuff like that being out. But nothing new has been reported about them. So he was gone for a good portion of the match, and then Cash was like fighting them off by himself. So like a gutsy performance for him by himself, and then Dax making the big save, coming back to the ring to help his partner, even though he's beat up. So what a gutsy performance for FTR overall. So they picked up the victory here, man, and they're now ROH and IWGP champions here, which I think a lot of people assumed they were going to win. But Bryan, I don't know if you saw some of the chatter online. Some people were kind of concerned if they would actually win because of the politics with New Japan Pro Wrestling, CMML, AEW, and AAA. Like, for anyone who doesn't know, AEW works with AAA. New Japan works with CMLL. CMLL and AAA are the two big wrestling promotions in Mexico. They don't like each other. They don't like talents working here. That's why like Andrade, Phoenix, Penta, all these guys with ties to AAA and AEW cannot be on this show. And so with FTR, the current AAA tag team champions, some people are wondering, I wonder if New Japan will put the titles on them. Would that piss off CMLL? And correct me if I'm wrong, did FTR come to the ring with the ROH and AAA titles? But when they won...
yes.
But when they won, they posed with just only the ROH and the IWGP tag titles. The AAA titles were nowhere seen. So maybe that was the compromise. It's like, all right, these guys can win, but we don't want our AAA titles on TV at the same time as the IWGP. Maybe that's the compromise. I don't know. But
probably. I mean, it would make sense if that was the deal.
Yeah. I mean, that's I'm thinking that's what it is. But let's see. So we saw Roppongi Vice use a strong zero flying dropkick combo on Jeff Cobb for a near fall. Then FTR ran over Rocky with a big rig for the victory. And yeah, they're the new champions. So I'm excited. I mean, I think the sky's the limit. I think they should keep going around and be belt collectors.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, what else would they need to collect at this point?
NWA.
Oh, yeah. Gosh.
Impact, maybe. Like,
oh, man. That would be a run. If they keep the championships they have now and went over to Impact and NWA, yeah, that would be awesome for them.
I mean, I know Kenny Omega was trying to do the belt collector gimmick, and everyone's trying to reenact Ultimo Dragon's ultimate photo with all the titles.
The ultimate belt collector.
Sorry, I just made a pun without even knowing it.
Yes.
But no, I think that would be awesome if they go to NWA and win those titles. And dude, I would be all for that. So I think I want to see it all because AEW works with all those companies. So I hope it works out.
They'd have to get Sonny Ono to be their manager. To hold all those belts.
That would be awesome. Well, actually, have they been using Bret Hart? No, wait. they did use Bret Hart on an indie show, but it can only be indie shows because Bret signed that new like little under the table or under the radar deal with WWE, right?
Yep.
And that's why Mick Foley did another indie show with them. So, that's a little bit of a bummer, man. It would be cool to get Bret Hart out there. So I don't know.
I was thinking it was going to happen at one point. I was like, oh, man. Because all signs pointed to that. Like, they got the gear and they were, talking about, I mean, every single match as a tag team and individually was ending like a former Bret Hart match or some sort. The Owen Hart tournament. I was sure that Bret Hart was going to show up in AEW and at least become their manager for, a little while if need be. But I don't know. Maybe they'll find some way to make that happen.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully they can work something out. All right. Next up, the match that you were able to start tuning in for was for the Fatal 4-Way for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship, the brand new title, which I don't know if we had a chance to talk about this, Brian. Your thoughts on AEW coming up with another title for the company?
Well, because we already know, at least from what Tony Khan said, that the trios titles are already done. This championship, the All-Atlantic Championship, came out of nowhere. Yeah. Now it seems a little bit excessive because we know we have both the women's championships. We have the AEW title. We have the AEW World Tag titles. We have the All-Atlantic Championship, and then Trios Championship coming up. So what is that? That's like 6 titles?
Wait.
AEW
World title, TNT.
Oh, I forgot the TNT.
All-Atlantic, Tag, women's title, TBS title. Wait, is that right?
Wait, let's start over.
Okay.
AEW
World Championship.
World Championship, TNT, World Tag Team, All Atlantic, Women's, TBS.
And trios, and potentially trios.
Trios, and the FTW Championship.
You want to count that? So theoretically, it's 8.
Yeah.
But FTR, I'm sorry, the FTR, the FTW, it's decoration for Ricky Starks, and then potentially the trios title at some point. So
yeah.
But that's just AEW. You think about with all the companies that they work with, the crossover, how many all the ROH titles have been appearing regularly the last couple months now. I mean, we've had Samoa Joe ROH TV title matches. You've had Jonathan Gresham ROH championship matches on television. ROH tag titles with FTR.
I think the Pure Championship was even defended on Dark.
That's right.
Recently.
With Wheeler Yuta, and then Mercedes Martinez is the women's champion.
Yep.
So you got all the AEW titles, and you got the ROH titles in the mix. Like, and then everyone, New Japan, IWGP titles making appearances. Other promotions. I mean, Impact had titles appearing for a while. Like, there's a lot of belts on TV, so it's like, it's a very saturated scene right now. So
I don't understand what the point. Like the All Atlantic Championship, I get it, right? I'm actually surprised that it took this long to introduce a championship like that for AEW, but it came out of nowhere. Like, there wasn't any speculation or any like talk about it.
No
almost
leaks.
Almost like it wasn't needed, right?
I mean, how pissed you must be, like Scorpio Sky. Like, you're the TNT champion. You got the Lakers influence design, and you're thinking like you're theoretically on paper the second best, a member of the roster. You have the second tier title. Now you're like, you're way like falling to the sideline now.
Well, and now you have 4 championships that look alike, TBS and TNT, and the women's, the AEW women's, and the All Atlantic
look alike.
It's like they copy and pasted, just like WWE.
Well, I mean, I guess the All Atlantic is their version of the IC title, and then the TBS or the TNT championship, I guess, their equivalent of the old TV title. WCW, NWA had television title. which is cool. I've always been a big fan of the television title. I thought that was a cool thing. I love was it when Booker T was champion of that. I think he said on record that's always been his favorite title. I think he had. It. Yeah, dude.
It's a really good looking title too. Prince Iakea, Johnny B. Bad.
Johnny B. Bad. God.
Yes.
Oh man, Mark Mero. What?
Yep.
We should do like our favorite TV champions. Was Stone Cold ever TV, or he was just U.S. champion?
I think he might have been. No, you're right. It was the U.S. champion. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ever TV champion.
But anyway, a lot of titles there. But anyway, for the match itself, it was Pac, Clark Connors, who was the sub for Ishii. Ishii was hurt. Another member that was hurt. Clark Connors from the LA Dojo. See him on Strong a lot. We had Miro and Malachi Black. This match was a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of nonstop action. You're going to get that if a fatal four-way. You got so many spots here to go through. I think when Clark Connors was announced as this fill-in for Ishii, I think... Sorry, Clark Connors, but everyone knew he was going to be the one to eat the pinfall here.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, how'd you think this match played out here?
It was good. Clark Connors reminded me of Jungle Boy a little bit just because of the gear. But it was a good match. I'm kind of surprised that the I guess, I don't know if you want to call it a tournament, but it was, it was so short. Again, it's like one of those things. I think they kind of forced it to kind of get it out there quickly as they can. But I would have been nice to see a lengthy tournament that could have had a lot more people from different, countries and continents and all that. It would have just been really cool to see it that way. But the match was good. Pac. I see Phil messed me up because now I don't know how to say it. If it's Pac or Pac. It's Pac.
Pac.
Right? There we go. Okay.
Yeah,
it's
Pac.
Yeah, that sounds better. Okay.
Yeah, not because Tupac,
and then Pac.
Tupac.
Okay, got you.
Pac. Yeah.
Got you. Okay, Pac. So
Pac. Yeah, Pac is not Tupac. That's the easy way to remember it. No. So you and I were alive when Tupac was alive.
Yes.
Do I remember watching his videos on MTV? I remember when the WCW television title existed.
Yes.
It was active. Now I'm dating myself here, but I know the difference between Pac and Tupac.
We remember Johnny B. Bad.
Dude, as a kid, I was like, who is this? Who is this guy? What's his deal?
Ooh, man, that's funny.
And then like, the Little Richard influence and all that stuff. But I was like, who is this guy?
Yep.
Oh, man. But, we know Mark Mill, the real winner in life. Well,
yes.
And Brock Lesnar's now the real winner in life.
Right.
And so for anyone who knows. Sable. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, no, but the match here was a lot of fun. Like Connor's put up a fighting effort. I mean, he's someone I don't think a lot of fans know about just because, he hasn't been on this large of a stage before. But, we saw Malachi Black sprayed the black mist in Miro's eyes. So that got Miro out of the equation. And then Connors and Malachi Black were fighting for position. But then Pac jumped onto them with the 450 splash. And then Pac locked Connors in the brutalizer and made Connors tap out. So, yeah, he's your new AEW, the first AEW All-Atlantic champion.
Finally.
He finally gets a title. I mean, he's been there since day one. And he's so good, and I think a lot of people like him and a big fan of him. Finally got a title, so I'm just happy for him. It kind of makes him important again because he's just been existing. And with the pandemic, remember he was like not on television for a long time because he couldn't travel. The travel bans from the UK. I'm excited what he could do. I mean, part of me wanted to see Miro win it, but I think Miro has like a bigger storyline there, and I think Miro should be in the main event title picture scene. Yeah. now with Malachi Black spraying the mist on him, maybe that can be a program them to go off and do one-on-one match, which I'm for. I think House of Black should be the trios champion at some point. Give Malachi Black something to do. But for the time being, Pac, very happy for. I think he deserves it. And I'm excited what he can do with that title. So, and if he wants to go wrestle overseas, like take it over with him somewhere, I think that'd be great. So, let's see. Next up, we saw Dudes with Attitude. So Darby Allin, Sting, and Shingo Takagi versus the Bullet Club was El Phantasmo and the Young Bucks for one night only reuniting. This match, a lot of fun. I mean, Sting at 63 years old, still just doing an amazing job. What you think at the beginning though, when the lights went out, when the Bullet Club came out? I don't know about you. Like I just said a second ago, you and I were around when Tupac was alive.
That's right.
The WCW television title was a thing. Therefore, we were also alive when Sting was doing his thing from the rafters. I thought we were going to get Sting from the rafters again. I don't know about you.
I definitely thought we were going to get Sting from the rafters. I was like, oh my God. Like what I was excited, but then, like, oh my God, what is he doing? Like, no way they're doing this. It was a good feeling, though, because, like, it just brought back all those memories. I'm sure you've heard the dream that I had of me and acting like I was Sting on, So there was this, when I was younger, there was this girl I liked, and I had a dream that I was Sting and I didn't talk to anybody.
Wait, so what, did you just... Wait, what would you do then?
So in my dream, I stood up on, I don't know how I got up there, but I was on top of the portable classrooms, right? And everybody was down there like on the ground, like looking up at me, and I had my bat and I was pointing at the girl that I liked. And in the background, Blackstreet's "Don't Leave Me, Girl."
Wait, did Blackstreet do No Diggity? Right?
They did. Yeah.
That's okay. See, I know my stuff, man.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I don't know. It was so random.
Wait, did Blackstreet have like the little, remember Penny Hardaway puppet? Yes,
Yep.
I know it. Yes. Yes, I know it.
Oh, man.
We just need to do a 90s retro podcast. That's what we need to do. So, okay. So, okay, I remember now. I remember the story now. I remember when you
Yep. That was me. I was the singer.
Was your face painted?
I think so. I think it was.
But no, so I mean, like, I get it. At 63, you probably don't want to put him up way up in the rafters. So just on top of the entrance ramp, that was cool. Actually, I was going to ask you, what do you think of the whole design of the ramp for this show? It was a little bit different than AEW.
Okay, so I was a little disappointed at first because the way Tony Khan talked about it was almost like it was going to be completely different. Like I was thinking that we were going to get like a stage setup, like maybe some doors, for Forbidden Door. Like that would have been cool, but I can't be too mad. I mean, I'm satisfied and fine with WWE's big giant screen that they have every single show, and I honestly think that this way, I hope they continue it going forward because it looks really nice. Like it looks clean.
It was clean.
The video, you can see the videos a lot more, like the entrance videos and stuff. Like so I hope that hopefully they can keep it going.
And the way they had it, it kind of, because of the big screen and the light it projected, it kind of filled the hallways of the good guys and the bad guys tunnels.
Made it
that was cool.
Oh yeah. Made it so much more clear and brighter to see right there. And then on the sides, like you can tell they had the middle screen, the video board, and then on the sides, it was like they had that Forbidden Door, like multiverse graphic playing.
Yeah, okay, the graphic.
Cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, I mean, and frankly, if you follow AEW on social media, the graphics for the match cards, it like they animated those and made it come alive. So yeah, that was cool. Also, real quick, commentary team. We have a chance to mention that.
Yes.
It was Taz, Excalibur, and Kevin Kelly, who's from New Japan, doing the commentary, the English broadcast for New Japan. I like that combo. I thought they were great.
I thought it was good too. Kevin Kelly is really, really. It's like every time you hear him, he's refreshing. Like it's one of those voices that back in the day, I didn't think that, you know,
in WWE.
Yeah, in WWE, Kevin Kelly, it's just like, but when he obviously left and went out and did his own thing, he became one of my favorite voices to hear. And so it was nice to have him there. I know that they had Shivani kind of running around, kind of doing everything. Yeah. I think they had Jim Ross for like 1 or 2 matches.
Yeah, Shivani came out, did the Sting match. So, it's Sting. And Jim Ross came out, did the last few matches.
Yeah.
For the ROH tag titles, they had what's his name? Oh my God. He always goes, "Hey, Riccaboni." I love him. He's a great oh my God. Caprice, Caprice, right?
Yeah.
Caprice
Coleman. There we go. Yep.
By the way, I liked when for the ROH match they had their announcer. I love that ring announcer.
Yeah.
Go to Roman Fall. But yeah, Caprice Coleman, he came out. That was cool. So yeah, Jim Ross came out at the end. So at some points it was 4 people in the booth, which is a lot. And so but no, anyway, I like hearing Kevin Kelly. I think he's great, and just he has all the knowledge with the New Japan guys, so he was able to fill that as far as the broadcast about who these guys are, explaining their significance and whatnot. For the ring announcing, so we had Justin Roberts, the AEW, and then New Japan had their guy do the Japanese version. Was it like a battle, like who could scream louder at one point? It just felt...
It felt like that. And, you know, at first, the New Japan ring announcer, like, I don't know if again, I don't watch too much New Japan, at least not anymore, but like, I don't know if he only gets loud like that for like the main event matches or something, because he was super quiet. Like, I could barely hear him throughout the entire night. Like, Justin would announce and like some of the Sting, and then the Japanese one would say, Sting, or you know what I mean? It would just be like super quiet like that. But
they go, "Oh, God!"
That's my favorite.
Tana Hoshi. That was great. I mean, when he got animated, but it was almost like they look at each other and like who can one up each other. So that I thought it was fun. So the commentary overall, all the announcers made this show, I think, a lot more enjoyable. So I give them credit for that. For this match itself, you know, Sting did a great job. It was cool seeing the Young Bucks back in the Bullet Club for one night only, get their old Bullet Club gear on. I know there was a little miscommunication at the end with Sting, but we did get to see some nipple.
Yes.
That's El Phantasmo's thing, right? The nipple pinching. So we saw the Young Bucks attempt a BT trigger, but Sting countered with the double Scorpion Deathlock. Sting kicked LP for a low blow. Then Shingo tagged in and beat up El Phantasmo with the lariat for a near fall. And then Shingo nailed LP with the Last Dragon and pinned him. So they picked up the victory. Sting, man, like I wonder if he'll ever do a singles match in AEW. He hasn't done one, right? I mean,
no. I feel like maybe before he hangs it up, he will.
Yeah,
just one good singles match.
As good as he's wrestling for his older age, it just kind of bums me out. WWE couldn't do more with him.
I feel the same way, man. And I honestly think
think about it, that was what, 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
So imagine
injury.
It would have been better 7 years ago.
I kind of feel like the injury might have stopped that. And, you know, they probably were afraid, you know, they didn't want to go any further with him, obviously, with the type of injury it was.
Liability. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
But prior, well, which, you know, a lot of, when people have injuries like this, like when you look at Daniel Bryan and when you look at Edge and when you look at a Sting, maybe a potential Paige, you know, now that she's not with WWE anymore. When you look at stuff like that, Christian, you know, can't forget Christian too. when you look at stuff like that, it kind of makes you like, I don't know for you, but it makes me wish, like, I understand WWE's side of it, but it kind of makes me wish, like, just give them a chance, like give them a little bit of time, make sure they're okay. Which a lot of times they do make sure they're okay, and I just don't think the company is willing to take a chance because, like you say, it's a liability thing,
Do you think so? You're saying maybe instead of just writing them off and saying you can't wrestle ever again, maybe be a little patient, and just let some time go by, and then maybe reevaluate the situation again.
Definitely, I do agree.
I get what you're saying. I just wonder how much time do you give? Because everyone's been different. Edge was nearly 9 years. Mm-hmm. Christian was almost as long, right? 7.
Well, and I think they got it right with Edge. Obviously, Edge is back and doing his thing. They weren't sure on Christian. That
because his was concussions, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they weren't sure on him.
Daniel Bryan was 3 years.
He was, so he came back and had his thing going.
I guess for me, when I see all these guys come back, for me personally, it always makes me wonder about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, I get it, he's told the story many times. When he retired after WrestleMania 19 in 2003, he knew his time was up, he was done, his neck was in bad shape, everything was bad. I know there was a rumor that he was supposedly going to come back and face CM Punk. Remember when they had that little beef on Raw and stuff? Yeah. Like, allegedly that was going to set up something like a WrestleMania. But that was 10 years ago, so that never happened. But with that being said, I wonder if we could, what we saw with Edge, Christian, all the names you just listed, I wonder if we could have had that with Stone Cold at some point. Mm-hmm. And that's something I would love to ask him, is like, okay, we know you finally came back against Kevin Owens. Yeah. Why are you able to come back now? Yeah, 19 years later. Couldn't this happen maybe 10 years ago when your body was 10 years younger?
Right.
I don't know. That's the biggest what if. I mean, don't get me wrong. Happy we got to see his big return match in Dallas, Texas. That made that made the whole trip for me. I swear, as great of all the interviews we got and the content we got was amazing. Steve Stone Cold in person was awesome. That made it worth it. So so I know we're going on a big old tangent here about Sting and stuff, but anyway, so they pick up the victory. Next up for the AEW Women's World Championship, Thunder Rosa against Toni Storm. Now I know this was just AEW only, no Japanese wrestlers here. A lot of people were questioning. I know New Japan doesn't have a women's roster, but they do work with Stardom, right? Mm-hmm. But Tony Khan said he wanted someone from Stardom here, but they had a show, I think, the night before. So from a travel standpoint, they just couldn't get there in time. So they were booked up already and just travel restrictions, all that stuff. But the match here, and I know Toni Storm has had a lot of years in Japan. So I guess in some ways she was loosely the Japanese representation for Forbidden Door. But this match was really good. I wish they had more time, but that was a good match, right?
Yeah, I wish they had more time too. I wish that the match was, at least from the start, I kind of get where they were going with the, very slow, methodical, very technical. I didn't really watch much of Toni Storm. I mean, even in WWE, at least when she was in her matches didn't really start off like that, So that was nice to see Toni Storm kind of start off that way. But I felt like it was very much the same as Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb, starting off very technical. I get it, trying to kind of win the crowd over that way. But I feel like with the way that everything's been going with Thunder Rosa and how slow and I lackluster the storylines and everything has been, her promos, everything. I feel like they should go a different route and maybe start off hot and have her come out swinging, have her come out really applying the pressure in her matches, trying to get the match over with as quick as she can,
because there's a spark going.
Yeah, just that little spark to have her, get the crowd energized, because that's the thing too. When you're watching on TV, I feel like a great percentage of if the match was good or not in terms of when you're at home is, crowd involvement. It's easier to get bored of a match quickly if you know that the crowd's not involved. If they look bored, then of course you're going to be at home like, all right, And I'm not saying the match was boring, but I do think that it had some elements like a lot of her other matches have had. It's kind of reminded me of what Hangman dealt with in his time as AEW World Champ, and it's kind of weird because I feel like now you've got Thunder Rosa, who's the AEW Women's World Champ, but she is holding the championship that isn't really the most popular right now. I mean, you have Jade Cargill with the TBS championship. It's kind of like Roman with the Universal championship, right? Like, even though the WWE championship is the most prestigious, like that is the top championship, Roman
of all time, the lineage, everything.
Time. Yes, absolutely. And so, but then you have, this new championship and Jade Cargill and, everything she's been able to accomplish, and even just the type, even in matchups that Jade Cargill is having,
presentation of her,
the build around her and the storyline and everything going on with her is just a lot better, in my opinion, than what's going on. I think from half of Britt Baker's reign till right now with Thunder Rosa, it's just feels weird.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of an issue in pro wrestling in general. Is I think for baby faces, the chase is better than the catch. Hangman, Thunder Rosa, these baby faces trying to the journey to become champion is more interesting than once they are champion.
Yes, definitely.
You get what I'm saying? As far as them trying to overcome all the hurdles. I mean, you look at Sting. We cheered for him taking on the NWO by himself. Like, that was a big challenge, fighting his way to Hogan to get the WCW championship. So it's like for these baby faces, it's like it says, the chase is always better than the catch. Like, seeing Thunder Rosa overcome all these odds to finally defeat Britt Baker, who was like the one thing she hasn't been able to do to become champion. But that's the same thing for Hangman. How long his story was, 2+ years story in the making to finally defeat Kenny Omega, his old tag team partner, all the odds he had to overcome. That's the story. Once they become champions, like, where do you go from here? How do you keep them interesting and relevant? And that's a big challenge when you're a booker. And I don't know what the answer is. I wish we can get John LaRocca on, our friend who is a booker, former booker himself. And he's, I think, great at, trying to tell a story in and out of the ring. And I would love to get his idea how he would have booked maybe Hangman's title reign better, or Thunder Rosa, make them, they're the number one champion of their respective division. They should be the most entertaining, the most engaging, the number one priority for the wrestling show. And they don't feel like it. So how do you keep someone special, especially babyface? I'm with you. Like Thunder Rosa, I don't want to say it's been a lackluster title reign. I think because wasn't there some like reports of injury? And I know she tried to shot it down, but there was reports of some injury. So I think that's why she was champion, but not wrestling a whole lot or defending it. And I know she tried denying it, but it's like, okay, but your lack of in-ring work, I think, kind of shows that. So, I mean, I love Thunder Rosa. She's been on the show before. I'm a big fan of her. I love watching her wrestle. And as you say, like, she's so great in the ring, the explosion, what she does, especially at NW. We saw that in NWA. And when she came over with AEW, she is just this, she puts on these amazing matches when she goes balls to the wall. So there's got to be some little course correction there. Hopefully they can start doing that. But Toni Storm, great opponent for her to kind of maybe kick things off again, reignite her title reign. Toni Storm, she's a decorated champion herself. NXT UK champion. Women's champion. So great opponent. The match, though, like I said, I love Toni Storm. What's it? That hip? What do you call it? The hip, where the person's in the corner and she comes hitting them. What's it called? The hip. Oh my God! Let me look.
Hip toss.
Let's see. What's the proper name? I'm probably gonna butcher it. Let me see. Let's see.
I think I know which one. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know.
But the one where she did it to Britt Baker. Britt Baker really sold it. Like she got knocked out, but then did the roll up. So, oh God, what's it called? Anyway, it was not a big deal, but you know what I'm talking about. She runs her hip into the corner.
Right.
But for the match itself, we saw Thunder Rosa hit Tony with the Thunder Fire driver. Storm kicked attitude, and Tony captured Thunder Rosa's leg and then suplexed her. Thunder Rosa rallied back with the final reckoning and pinned Tony Storm. So she retains the title. Very happy for Thunder Rosa to just pick up a big victory like this. Great match here. And I hope Tony Storm, keeps fighting. And I think she'd be a great future women's champion as well. So I think that I'm just happy for both of them and love to see what they can do next. Next up, I know we got to wrap things up quick. Let's power through this. Will Osprey defending the IWGP US Championship against Orange Cassidy. Now, I don't know about you, Brian. I was kind of hoping Will Osprey was going to have a different opponent for this show.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy, I know he's a very polarizing figure. I'm a little burnt out on him. I know he's been injured, so we've had some time to miss him. He's back now. His style, his character, his gimmick, it's nothing to say for me. I'm not really into it. The whole nonchalant, I don't care. I mean, I guess the character has evolved a little bit where he'll start out slow, but now he's a little more, he kind of gets things going a little bit earlier in the match now. Mm-hmm. So the character has evolved where, you slap him or something, then he'll snap out of it and kind of start going on a run. I know for a lot of people, they thought this was match of the night. It was okay for me. I thought the first half was a little slow. They were kind of feeling each other out. Mm-hmm. It wasn't to the end where it was like Orange Cassidy was trying to do those kicks to the face. It was like nonchalant. Will Osprey just stood up and said, "What the hell are you doing?" and started hitting him. And then Orange Cassidy got pissed and started actually kicking him. And that's why I think the match really started going.
Yeah.
It was okay. I just kind of wish there was still a different opponent for Will Osprey. I don't know what you think of this one here.
Yeah, different opponent probably would have fit better for him, because I feel like Will Osprey is someone who you don't really want to put in a position where he's going up against someone like Orange Cassidy, who is good in the ring. He's proven me wrong. He's shown me a great deal of what he can do, and I have a lot of respect for him. But my whole thing is like the gimmick part of it, the gimmicky part of it, like the fake kicks and the stuff like that. It just doesn't fit well with Will Osprey. Will Osprey is someone who, a lot of people will argue and say that he's, one of the next top stars, if not the one of the top stars out right now. Kenny Omega kind of passing him the torch, in New Japan once he left. I mean, there was argument on who's best in terms of Seth Rollins and Will Osprey. You've got that debate going on also. And it's just like, for him to go on the match with Orange Cassidy, and I was expecting to see Will Osprey. Like, even when I got ready to watch, I'm telling Charlie, I'm like, all right, keep your eyes on Will Osprey, because this guy, a lot of people say that this guy is better than Seth Rollins. There's a whole debate going on, and so he's watching, and I'm like, oh, this is a horrible match to show him.
You show him versus Ricochet. That's a better match to show.
Oh, much better match.
Yeah.
But Huey, you know that thing that people say, where it's just like they get put in a match and it's just like, or like for example, like if you see a referee turn their back when they shouldn't, or do something, it's just like Will Osprey shouldn't be. Like, why are you allowing him to kick you like that, or even standing for something like that? Like, you're Will Osprey. You're here on this big stage, this big platform, in front of all these people. Your main goal should be putting Orange Cassidy away, who, and to you, should be at the bottom of the totem pole. Like this, I would be mad if I'm Will Osprey. Like, this is who you have for me, Tony Khan. Like, Will Osprey, you know what I'm from a character standpoint. Like, I would be upset that I'm going up against. This is the best that AEW has to offer me. Yeah, and so I feel like it should have been. Obviously, you don't want to. I get it. You don't want to do quick work of Orange Cassidy, right? But at the same time, you want Will Osprey to be serious and not put up with any of the foolery.
I'm trying to think who would have been a better opponent.
They probably were injured.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Pac would have been awesome, but he was already busy with the Atlantic match. My thing with Orange Cassidy is like, I was trying to think, what does he do? Is he time for a gimmick change? But if you do change up his character and make him more serious, then he loses what makes him special. Like he's already, he's a shorter guy, he's a skinnier guy, so he's smaller compared to some of the other guys. If he was to be like more serious, then he would just get maybe kind of lost in the shuffle. The Orange Cassidy gimmick is what makes him stands out. Yeah. So I know it's a catch-22 there as far as, well, he needs to keep doing it. Now, granted, it has evolved where he's a little more serious in the ring, so his matches are a little bit better. I know we kind of saw that begin when he was against Kenny Omega for the AEW championship. Was it a triple threat with Pac as well? Pac, excuse me, not Tupac, Pac. Yeah, that was Double or Nothing.
Yeah, and so, I when I think back to that, it's like this match to date for Orange Cassidy, like you're going up against Will Osprey, the IWGP United States champion. This is the biggest match of your career since challenging for the AEW World Championship. You got to go out there and you got to put all the foolery aside. And you got to go and try and get it done. And there's no time for winding up or, I just feel like for someone who, especially because it was a championship match, right? This is the best of the best. This is supposed to be wrestling, the best of the best. AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is the best of the best. You're representing All Elite Wrestling. You got to go in there. There should be no time for gimmicks. It's wrestling. This is all wrestling. This isn't. I could see if this was Rampage or Dynamite, but this is the Forbidden Door. You got someone coming into your house, right? And in your ring, your show, trying to say that they're better than you. Obviously, I don't know. There's a lot to take away. They had a decent match when it's once it started. Like you said, once it started ramping up and. Orange Cassidy took the hands out of the pockets and it was time to go. And then another thing, like he's letting a guy with hands in his pockets beat him up. Like, Will Osprey, come on, like he's got his hands in his pockets. Take advantage.
I know. I know we saw, Orange countered the Stormbreaker, but then Osprey found the hidden blade and smashed into Orange Cassidy for the near fall. Then Osprey finally hit the Stormbreaker and pinned Orange Cassidy. Juice Robinson, who's been like holding the IWGP US title hostage, who's in the skybox screaming that he's still the champion. Yeah. Aussie Open, they come in the ring, rip off the pockets of Orange Cassidy's jeans, beat him up. Trent and Rocky Romero run to the ring, help save their fellow Chaos member. But the numbers game outnumbered them. United Empire just beat the crap out of all of them. And all of a sudden we hear, no scrubs from the Destiny's Child, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then sure enough, Shibata comes out and makes the save and takes out Aussie Open. The crowd goes wild. Shibata, legendary New Japan wrestler, unfortunately was injured, had to retire early, young. Was it the headbutt? And he had the internal bleeding in his head that caused him to injure or retire early.
I think he might have been partially paralyzed at one point because of that, right?
God, I'm sure it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Beats up Will Osprey, makes a save. Then Shibata hit the rear naked choke until Aussie Open pulled Will Osprey out of the ring. Orange Cassidy puts the sunglasses on him and does the thumbs up. So cool little moment seeing Shibata, make an appearance there. So that was fun.
I also want to point out that the one thing that I didn't like about the match real quick too was the fact that they did have Juice Robinson up there with the championship, because that was a dead giveaway of who was going to win this match. I mean, what was Juice Robinson going to do? Come down and hand the championship to Orange Cassidy? Like, come on. There's something going on. There's a storyline going on there. I'm sure that's what it seemed like.
They're going to keep that going.
They're going to keep it going. So, it kind of sucks. I mean, man, that place the roof would have blew off if Orange Cassidy would have won that
match. Next up, we saw Zack Sabre Jr. take on not Bryan Danielson. Unfortunately, he was injured. He announced that. last week on Dynamite, but he had a hand-picked opponent for him, and making their debut was the former Cesaro from WWE, but now going by Claudio Castagnoli. Am I pronouncing that right?
That's right.
Castagnoli, who's now the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club. So, dude, that roar, the audience was so happy for him. What did you think about him finally signing with AEW?
It's bittersweet. At heart, I'm a WWE guy, but but no, good for him. I think again, he's another one of the guys who went out the right way.
Yes. Very professional,
extremely professional, man, and I think he's earned this position. Whether it was going to be in AEW or anywhere, to be the focal point, main event caliber talent, surrounded by other main eventers. Hell of a run he had prior to leaving WWE, right? Like, I mean, you would think that. I mean, obviously there wasn't enough there from WWE side, so that would make him want to resign. But man, main eventing, or not main event, but like having that match with Rollins, and then
finally getting that WrestleMania win.
Finally getting the WrestleMania win, right?
And then WrestleMania Backlash took on Roman, right?
Roman, yeah. Then having the match with Roman. And so I think it was a WrestleMania, one more WrestleMania too late for him to get that win, I think.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Even for him to have that match with Roman. I'm glad he's in a position now. I noticed, I thought about it. I was like, oh, wow, he's back with Jake Hager. He's back in the same company with him. So that's pretty cool.
We, the people, just get Dutch Mantel out there.
Yes.
Geez, with these crazy political times now, they could really get some heat going.
Oh, yeah.
But it was cool. I mean, it was kind of predictable he was going to be the handpicked selection from Bryan Danielson. And then dirt sheet people, revealed it early in the day. Meltzer tweeted out, "Oh yeah, Claudio's backstage."
Yeah,
I saw that and I was like, but it's fine. I follow Dave Meltzer and read his stuff. So
yes,
but it's cool. I'm very happy. I mean, that's the thing. That's an example of, while it was predictable, it's still what the fans wanted and they were happy. So that is an example of, it's okay to do fan service and make the fans happy. So I love they took like his old ROH theme and kind of revamped it a little bit more rocking. It's like, sounds like it's such a grand entrance, his music. It's like a big celebration, like get you amped up, and it was great. Like, he looks energetic. Everyone seems very happy on Twitter. Was it Becky Lynch posted a screenshot of his entrance? Like, everyone's like, "Oh my god, you're posting like an AEW image," and like everyone else seems very happy. Xavier Woods, everyone was like posting congrats and stuff. So it just shows how well loved he is from his WWE peers. Oh yeah. But no, great fit for Blackpool Combat Club. It was great. And God, when you see him, you see how big he is. You forget how big he is. Yeah. Like height and just thickness, muscle. Yep. So the match itself was interesting because Zack Sabre is very technical. I know sometimes I watch Zack Sabre, and sometimes I feel like his matches can be a little boring because the technical stuff doesn't appeal to me as much compared to other fans, which is fine. Teach their own. Claudio, it was just tough. I started getting used to call him Claudio. Can't call him Cesaro anymore. Yeah. But he's very much like hard hitting, strength, the uppercuts. So we got to see that dynamic, the two different styles, which made for the match very interesting. And Zack Sabre had to wrestle a little bit of a different style than what we're used to. Right. Anything else from this match that kind of caught your eye with all that?
Nah, I mean, I think you kind of hit it right on the point. Like, the two different styles mixing in. It was very interesting to see that. Very interesting to see Claudio, I don't know, like it had been a little while since he'd been in a ring in front of a large crowd like that. So you can tell that the emotions were right there in front of but it's like, all right, gotta get the job done now, So it was neat. It was really good moment.
So we saw, Claudio try to do the swings, but he was selling the bicep injury, so he couldn't really get it going. He used a gut wrench slam off the middle rope, which slams Zack Sabre Jr. to the mat. Claudio hit Sabre with a European uppercut. Then Claudio grabbed Zack Sabre Jr. and got the giant swing on him. Then Sabre countered a sharpshooter with a heel hook. Let's see. Was that the finish though? Oh, and then we saw Claudio smash Zack Sabre Jr. with the discus lariat and Ricola bomb for the pin. So Claudio picks up the win. I was kind of concerned about Zack Sabre losing. I know we didn't do predictions before this, but because I was concerned, like, you want to keep Zack Sabre strong. So some people were thinking he should have won here. That way he has the momentum going to face Bryan Danielson when that match does happen. Right. But I think it's okay that he lost here because Claudio, it's making his big debut. You can't have him lose his debut match in AEW. He needs to win that. So that was important. And then
you can argue and say too that, he wasn't ready for someone like Claudio. He had been preparing for Daniel and hoping for Bryan Danielson. So exactly. It's just, and then it leaves room for even Zack Sabre. If I'm him, I'm like, hey, okay, your friend beat me. But what about you? You can't beat me.
Well, Zack Sabre released a video on Twitter I saw and said, hey, I thought it was going to be a technical match. It wasn't a technical match. I wasn't ready for it. So very much like what Seth Rollins said to Cody Rhodes, like, I wasn't prepared. That's why I lost at WrestleMania. So yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. can have that same argument for Bryan Danielson to set up their match for a technical match down the road. Yeah. Very happy for Claudio to win here. And maybe we could save this discussion later because I know Claudio is going to be part of the Blackpool Combat Club at Blood and Guts. Maybe we can save this discussion. I'll just put out there right now. We can finish it later. What is his ceiling within AEW? What can he accomplish? So, I'll let you just think about that. We'll discuss that maybe later when we maybe do Blood and Guts later on this week or something. So, just food for thought, and that's something I want the Kliqsters to think about as well. What is his potential? You see other former WWE guys come to AEW, big debut, and then they fall to the sideline. Swerve, Keith Lee, there's just some examples right there. Can Claudio avoid that and do his own thing and stand out right away? I mean, that's something I think we can have a really fun discussion about.
Definitely.
Next up, second to last match here was the Fatal 4-Way for the Iwgp World Heavyweight Championship. Jay White, the champion, defending against Hangman Adam Page, Okada, and Adam Cole. This match was a lot of fun. You got four of the best here. Spot after spot after spot. It was so fun. Okada looking great in that robe coming out to the ring. I sent my brother a photo and he thought he looked like oh my God, why am I blanking? Antonio Inoki. That's right. Sorry. So he looked like $1 million. He looked awesome there. What'd you think of this matchup here? I know in your eyes it was the main event.
Definitely my eyes was the main event. It was good. It was star-studded. Like, that's why I was surprised. Like, I get it because it's AEW, but it was star-studded, like Adam Cole. I almost forgot, like, when the match was coming up and they said coming up next, I was like, oh my God, like, this is crazy that we're getting ready to see this right now, So I thought the match was really, really good. The ending was a little
flat out of nowhere. Yeah. But I think that's due to injury, Adam Cole. So yeah, Okada hit Cole with the drop kick. Hangman was about to jump in the ring with the buckshot lariat, but Adam Cole super kicked him. Okada got a landslide on Adam Cole. Then Jay White jumped in the ring and took Okada with the Blade Runner. And then Jay White grabbed Adam Cole, rolled him over, and stole the pin. So it was a very kind of out of nowhere finish. Yeah. I don't know what happened with Adam Cole. Has there been reported officially what happened? Some people are saying he looked concussed. I know he was dealing with a shoulder injury for a while. It was all taped up.
I think it was the shoulder. I think maybe, I don't know, he landed on it. I guess he had been working with it, like, messed up for a while now. And so, I think he might have just, like, hurt it. I don't know if it was the slam or if it turned the wrong way or something.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what it was, but I mean, it left the ending of the match to like you can argue some would be like, oh, was that supposed to happen? Or, what happened, so I don't know, man.
Some people are wondering, like, when Adam Cole ducked the Rainmaker from Okada, a lot of people thought, oh, was that supposed to be a finish? And he messed up. It looked like they called an audible and just Jay White quickly rolled the pin there just to end the match, or at least the ref wanted to end it. So hopefully maybe we'll get more info exactly what happened. But no, Adam Cole, God, he's been wrestling so much between NXT and AEW over the last few years. I'm sure his body's finally breaking down a little bit. I hope he can maybe take some time off and rest. I know there's a lot of injuries in AEW in general. I know it's the summertime right now, but hope all these guys can just rest up and then have a big comebacks in a few months, whatever. I mean, I'm telling you, with all these injuries, maybe they'll be good because then, we can miss them. And then in the fall, when they all come back healthy, this fall is going to be epic with all these like all-star matches happening. So that could be kind of the silver lining here with all these injuries is like, we'll miss them. And plus AEW has such a huge roster. They can cover a lot of these holes anyway with other people. So this summer it's going to be interesting how AEW handles all that. But, so yeah, Jay White retains the IWGP Championship. Bullet Club standing tall. The Undisputed Elite came to the ring to check on Adam Cole, but I don't know if they were going to do something with Jay White. But maybe since the match ended kind of weird, they just like, let's avoid that angle right now and just check on Adam Cole.
Right.
Does that kind of seem like to you as well?
Yeah, it seemed like that, and it's another, it being predictable. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. It just kind of was like, okay. They kept talking about how he had just won it from Okada. I think 5 days prior.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I don't think anyone is just gonna take it from Jay White right now. If anything, Okada's gonna win it back, and then that'll be it. But it was still a good match nonetheless.
It was a lot of fun though. I mean, I kind of hope was like, I don't know if what the angle was gonna be. Maybe Jay White was good. Oh, it was kind of cool. Like the first half of the match, Adam Cole and Jay White were kind of working together, like Bullet Club working together. But then when Jay White turned his back, Adam Cole hit the backbreaker, like backstabbed him, and so that made the match more interesting at that point on. But I kind of wonder, where they can go here. I don't know if the point of this match or the angle at the end that maybe scrapped was going to be like Adam Cole, them turning on Jay White, and then maybe that leads to Adam Cole versus Jay White down the road for something. Maybe they can revisit that at some point when Adam Cole's healthy. But I was kind of hoping maybe Hangman would win, and then therefore Hangman has to go to Japan and defend it. Like I was kind of hoping maybe some funny, like, booking. But you're right. Jay White just won the title. They're not going to probably take it off him so fast.
Right.
All right, so main event, last match here for the AEW World Championship, the interim title. Moxley versus Tana Hoshi. Hard-hitting match. We saw Moxley get busted open. I mean, it was supposedly from the switch or sling blade, right? Or is that wait, what's the one Finn Balor does all the time?
Yeah, sling blade.
He rolled out of the ring, and all of a sudden he started gushing blood. Like, damn, man, like really selling that move from Tana Hoshi, but like, Jesus. The match was fun. I mean, I know Moxley was almost kind of working heel here a little bit as far as and Tana Hoshi, the crowd was really cheering for him. Ultimately, though, we saw Moxley pick up the victory. Tanahashi hit a palm strike on Moxley, but Moxley hit him back with the King Kong lariat. Moxley had the bulldog choke on Tanahashi. He fought out of it as the crowd was saying, "Go Ace, go Ace." Then Moxley hit Tanahashi with the Death Rider and pinned him for the win. So Jon Moxley's the new AEW interim world champion. I like how they said Death Rider and not because Death Rider is the name of his finisher in New Japan, which is interesting. They didn't call it. Wait, what's the name of finisher in AEW? It's
Paradigm Shift.
Paradigm Shift. That's right. And it was cool. They kind of combined like a remix of his New Japan theme with his current AEW theme, kind of spliced them together. So that was kind of cool. Tana Hoshi, man, put up an amazing effort here. But you think it's the right decision? Moxley, world champion?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see Tanahashi winning, which is why I think that even in that match, it should have probably been a different opponent, just because I didn't see anyone besides Jon Moxley becoming the interim champion.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm interested in a Moxley versus CM Punk match in the future. I don't know if I'm interested in that, but it's gonna
be interesting. Where they go from here. I was kind of hoping Tanahashi would win it, and CM Punk's got to go to Japan to win it back or something. It could be kind of interesting. An outsider took the AEW title with him out of the country, and CM Punk as the ultimate babyface got to go on the journey to go get it back. So I was kind of maybe hoping something like that. But for Moxley, former champions, I guess he's now the first ever 2-time AEW world champion. This summer is probably going to be interesting what opponents they throw at him. I'm kind of curious if it's going to be like maybe Chris Jericho could be his first opponent. We'll see how Blood and Guts plays out.
Right.
So after the match, Jericho, Daniel Garcia come down and beat up Tanahashi and Moxley. Eddie Kingston runs down and goes after Jericho. Garcia pulls Eddie Kingston off Jericho. Yuta, Ortiz, and Santana come down there as well. Then the rest of Jericho Appreciation Society get into the fight. Then Claudio finally comes down and cleans house, the Jericho Appreciation Society. So really, it's the end of the pay-per-view, but they're setting up Blood and Guts right there. That's all that was. We did see Eddie Kingston get pissed at Claudio, try spitting at him, walked out of the ring. They do have history there because it was in Chikara, right? Like, they hate each other. They had a feud there. And I guess, I don't know the full story, but Claudio did not want to put over Eddie Kingston on his way out when he was going to sign with WWE. So Eddie Kingston's been pissed off ever since. I don't know if that's kayfabe or a shoot.
Right.
So I wonder if that rivalry that looks like they're going to pick up again in AEW is going to affect Blood and Guts tonight. So that's something to keep an eye out on.
Oh, man.
But overall, a very fun pay-per-view. I hope they make this an annual thing. I think it'd be kind of cool if they can do a version of it in Japan and kind of see what people they can get from their Japanese or Japan base onto the show. Maybe Stardom involved as well. So I think this is a really cool partnership they have going, and I think this is really a great, fun all-star show. So I like what you said. It's a version of like Survivor Series with the actual feels like a bigger deal again. So good stuff, man. All right. Well, we'll check out Blood and Guts coming up, and we'll do a review for that as well. Bryan, let's start wrapping things up. Where can the Kliqsters find you online?
Kliqsters. You guys can find me at BrianTronic on Twitter and Instagram. Find me.
I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. For everything else, at In The Kliq. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts at. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star rating, leave a review. That helps out a lot. If you're listening to us on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment as well. Share the podcast any way you can, inthekliq@gmail.com. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.